morning everyone, welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our game against Wolves. We'll start off with Alan from Sky.
Morning David.
Morning.
Bit of a break since your last game at Brentford and you managed to get the players out to a much warmer climate. How did that go? Did you see that as being very beneficial?
Yeah, I do. I think that it went really well. We had a good few days away. I think over the course of the year the players and the staff have had it pretty tough here. You know, it's been tough how the season started and over recent seasons, but the players are playing really well, have played really well, got great results, so they deserved a little bit of time in the sunshine.
Did it help any of those injured players? Were a number of them able to get over there with you?
Yeah, we took all the players. Good that Seamus Coleman, Brozier in the main, Chimiti, you know, are all sort of getting themselves closer to getting ready to play again.
Well, we saw Patterson and Chimiti on the bench, didn't we, at Brentford? So anybody, is Seamus nearer this week?
Seamus is much nearer as well. Whether he's ready to be, to be involved, I'm not quite sure yet. He's still training. We're obviously trying not to get him re-injured, so we're giving him every opportunity to make sure he's fine. Good.
A 7-match unbeaten run in the league, which is the first time that's happened in over 7 years. Do you feel that's quite an achievement, given that you've only just stepped into the role and injuries that you've had as well to such important players?
I think when I look back, I'll think it's a big achievement, but while you're in it, all you can really think about is the next game and making sure that you win it or you get something from the games. Every game at the moment for us, taking points is the most important thing, that we keep getting ourselves further and further away from the bottom 3 spots. But no, I think at the moment, if you'd said to me when I came in, we'd go have a period, we'd go 7 unbeaten, I think I'd shake your hands and say thanks very much.
And many managers in recent years, numerous Everton managers, have strived to improve Everton's away form. You've not lost away since you have returned. What's the secret there? Anything you've done differently?
Well, maybe the secret is I think we've had more home games than away games at the moment. That would probably be the first one, I would say, because I have to say, you know, the run of games in some ways, you know, we had quite a few home games, which is always good, and I think Goodison at the moment is special, and getting results here is probably even become harder now because of you know, we know that it's coming to an end. But I have to say, you know, we've been away at Brighton, we've been away at Crystal Palace, been away at Brentford, and the players have done a really good job, so we have to try and keep it going. It's something which we have to build on, look to keep improving and making progress.
I know with 11 games left to play now, the position that you're in, 15 points clear of the bottom 3, do you feel that it is just 1 or 2 victories will ensure that Premier League status?
Well, it might be, but it might not be. So we have to always work on what not could happen. But I think at the moment we're trying to see if we can get a little bit better in every game and play a bit better and try and do better things. At the moment, the players have done a remarkable job in the whatever it be, 5 or 6 weeks. But no, I'm certainly not thinking that we're safe at the moment, that's for sure. We have to keep getting more points. What's
your assessment of Wolves then for tomorrow? They're 10 points behind you, they're minus possibly their most creative and important player in Mateus Guerreiro as well.
Well, I think they've done a really good job at Wolves, and I think Wolves are got themselves back on track. I think they've played well in a few games. They did a really good win at Bournemouth. Obviously, the week before the cup, they ran Bournemouth close in the cup game as well. But obviously, they lose a really important player for them. But you know, we've lost really important players. You know, look at Dominic been out the team, and you know, Ellie been out the team in recent weeks. So we've had that situation as well. So part of football nowadays that, you know, you get injuries and you have to find a way of coping without them.
It's not the sort of kickoff time we're all used to on a Saturday. What's your feelings about it? Might be a lot more of them in the future, I suppose. But
normally bottle of red wine down by that time, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, maybe.
don't do that this weekend.
But no, it is. But I do think that we're all becoming a little bit more acclimatised to different kickoff times. I think if you're a traditionalist, then we probably don't see 8 o'clock on a Saturday night as a good footballing time. But it's the way it's going, and I think the football clubs are signing up to it now because of the money which coming in through the broadcasters. So we have to go with it, but obviously it'll ruin some people's Saturday night out.
Still 90 minutes of football at the end of the day, isn't it?
That's it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to Richard at Premier League Productions.
David, what's your assessment of this group of players and how they've performed since you came in? Because obviously, as a manager, you get a job because a team isn't performing necessarily as well as they would like to be. Have they surprised you in what's been achieved over the last 6 or 7 weeks?
Yeah, I think they have. I think they've probably surprised all the people in this media room as well, how well they've done over recent weeks. And probably, if I'm being honest, they've probably surprised most of the Evertonians as well who've come to the game. I think now we're seeing players who are certainly stepping up to better levels. You might have questioned, you might win one game but we've actually showed a little bit of consistency in the last 5 or 6 weeks as well with what we've done. I think the bit now is, can you go further? What are you going to do next? How can we keep it going? And I'm just really talking about little bits of progress every week at the moment, because we're suddenly not going to, it might not be the right thing, we're certainly not turning water into wine, that's for sure. But if we can keep moving slightly along the road and feeling that we're a bit better, I think that's the right way to go, and I think it's the right way for this club to go as well.
And you talked about the benefit of getting some sun on the players' backs. It's the first period, though, you've had where you're not looking to a game in the next 4 or 5 days. So how beneficial is that to actually get them on the training ground and work on things you want to?
Well, I've just come out of another club where I was playing nearly every 2 days with Europa League, 3 years in a row with the Europa League on a Thursday and a Sunday. Try to prepare your team to play. So at the moment it's been fantastic here, because it's in the main we've had mainly full weeks to prepare for the games. It makes a huge difference not having as many games and getting your team ready. We've got more injuries than we'd like to. I could understand if we had loads and loads of games and you had these injuries. We've got too many injuries for so little games, if you want to put it that way. But it's certainly helped me, because it's given me a little bit more time with the players, and the last few days as well just gave us a chance to train a bit easier in the sun, take a bit of time, sit about and talk about how we're doing as well. So we've tried to do that.
And looking ahead to Wolves, you've talked about the position you're in, the home form, how close you are essentially to achieving goal number 1, which is securing Premier League football for next season. How do you approach this game tomorrow?
Well, I think it's a hugely difficult game, but I do think that about any of the games in the Premier League. Went away to Brentford last week thinking, my goodness, Brentford for most of the season were nearly unbeatable at home. We went to Brighton, and you're saying, to go and win at Brighton nowadays with what they've got. So we have to go and attempt to go into Wolves and put on as good a show as we can, play with the confidence we've been doing at the moment. But Wolves are in a situation as well, they need the points badly. So it's a game near the bottom of the league. I wish it wasn't, but that's what it is.
Does that give you, as manager, confidence as well? You mentioned those trips away, the character, the steel perhaps that's been shown on those trips.
Well, I think through the season you're going to have to win a number of away games as well in your sort of calendar of games to make sure that you're either a Premier League team or you're aiming to play in Europe or whatever you're aiming to do. Our record at the moment away from home has been very good. We want to keep it up. Don't know how many away games we've got now left. 5, 6, 5?
6, I think.
6, so no. So there's still a bit to go before we say, by the end of all those games I might say it wasn't that good, but I have to say after 3 away from home I'm relatively pleased.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. We'll go to Shamoon at the BBC.
Hi there.
Not jealous at all for your trip, by the way.
I thought you were going to say you'd noticed my tan.
But you enjoyed yourself with the exchange and stuff.
Yeah.
The importance of Idris has been mentioned here, with Ramadan going on at the moment and possibly fasting as well.
Yeah.
Have you made any plans to manage his minutes in the next couple of games?
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting subject, because all the managers of this situation, we've all got boys who are doing Ramadan, and we all support it and back it. It started for us when we were in Abu Dhabi actually, and the players started their fasting. So yeah, but I think a lot of the players have become good at knowing how to manage it, how to deal with it, and I mean we've got 3 or 4 players who are doing it at the moment, and hopefully they can do so. I also know that the authorities do a really good job in having sort of water breaks at different times in the game for the players, etc., who need it. So yeah, big supporter of the boys who do it, and try and back them all the way to the end of the Ramadan.
Do you have to make any modifications to training, or do they crack on?
No, we don't. But again, I think the modern footballer has to be able to cope with it. You know, it's one of those things. It's part of life, and the Muslim boys who do the fasting, I think have become much better. The players are becoming more understanding how they can do it, how it works best for them. So no, we're big supporters, and but we understand exactly how difficult it can be as well.
Yeah, after the Villa loss, the gap between yourselves and Wolves was just a point. It's now 10, as been mentioned. Does that just highlight how well the club has done on yourself in that short period of time?
Well, I think in a couple of games recently we've been disappointed we've only taken a point, and that probably tells me a little bit more that, you know, there's been games where we felt, you know, even Brentford with big chances. No, the game was very even, but with big chances and individual chances to probably win the game. You know, we felt for long periods against Manchester United we should have been in front and stayed in front. So there's been a lot of good things as well as the victories we've had. The couple of draws have been good, but maybe they could have been better. I think the players are doing a really good job, and I want them to stick at it. I want them to continue to show us all that they can keep this up.
And how far's Illiman, do you reckon?
Illiman's probably one of the ones. I mean, the likes of Dwight, Illiman, Dom, who would come into were sort of were forward players who were needing back, and were creative players as well. I don't think any of those three at the moment are really close, you know. But Ellie's doing much better. He's not running yet or anything, but he's certainly improving from his injury.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks, Shemay. We'll go to Julia.
Some of the players recently have been saying that you've given them confidence when they're playing. The latest one is Alcaraz. I just wondered, how are you doing that as a manager? Is it an individual assessment on each player on how you bring out that confidence?
I don't know. You do things when you're a manager and a leader. You find ways of trying to, you know, get the best out of people. Everybody in any industry will be trying to do the same. People in leadership roles. So we have to coach them. We have to try and give them encouragement, back them. But, you know, now and again, sometimes there's a lot of the players will need a bit of tough love as well. So it won't all be one way. You know, they need to keep performing to get that good encouragement as well. But I have to say the players have responded brilliantly. They've made it easy for me in some ways. But we want them to continue getting better.
And with that confidence, the statistics on Jesper Lindstrom and Jack Harrison, no assists and no goals at the moment. How are you going about using them on the wing and then trying to get them into those numbers of assists and goals?
Well, let's be fair. You won't have longevity if you're not going to get me assists and you won't going to get me goals. So you have to find ways of coming up with those numbers. It's just the world we're in. We can get all the statistics now and we can talk about it. So those two are both attacking players. I think the both of them have done well. But yeah, I need goals from them. I need assists from them. So yeah, they both need to improve greatly in that. They've both done a really good job in recent weeks, but they're parts of the games we want them to improve on.
And James Tarkowski clocked up 103 consecutive Premier League appearances for the club, which is a club record. As a leader and a player, what have you found with him, working with him?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he's going on to show that, you know, out with maybe one or two centre-halves in the league, he's as good as MD. And certainly having people who are fit and available for every game. There's 103 games. You know, that in itself in football in terms is an incredible record, because you need players who are fit. You want your best players fit. It's part of football nowadays. You know, we're seeing so many injured players, whether it's because of the amount of games they're playing or if it's just the way football's going, the speed of the game. But I have to say, congratulate Tarky, because he's done a great job. And have to say, he's proven behind the scenes to be a good leader as well. He's taken over from Seamus at the moment. Seamus has been injured, but he's done a great job.
And I know when you started, you brought Leighton into your setup, and you know, you were trying to get to know him in a different role than what you've been used to. What's your assessment now? It's been a few weeks in, and what role does he play in your setup?
He's playing a huge role, and I've been really impressed by him. There's a lot of really good young coaches out there I see in football, and I'd now put Leighton in area as well. But he's got great insight, a little bit different to some of my staff, which helps greatly. And he's he's making his way. He's probably enjoying. I think he's enjoying working sort of at the top end as well. But he's helping us a lot, and he's speaking. We're talking a lot with a lot of the players, and he's a boy who's got great experience, whether it be playing for this club or playing for England.
Thanks, Julia. Go to Will.
Isaac,
I
just going back to the injuries, you mentioned Brozier. Do you know when he might be available again? What's he up to?
He's training. He's joined in a little bit. He's not fully right yet. I'm hoping that I would say that after the international break would probably be the right time. There's an outside chance that maybe he could be fit for next week, maybe. But at the moment, I can only follow the medical team. But if I was probably guessing, I'd probably say it looks more like after the international break.
And then Dye, McNeil, Calvert-Lewin, you're looking at April probably.
Yeah, I don't see them quite on the horizon yet. You know, the likes of Seamus and that, those boys are back in and around it a little bit without being match fit and without being sort of any minutes under their belt, any of them. They're getting back into training, but those other three we mentioned are still a wee bit away yet.
And Nathan Patterson was back on the bench at Brentford. He's a player who's been up and down since he arrived here from Rangers. How do you think he can get the best out of him? Because there was a lot of hype around him when he come from Rangers a few years ago.
Well, I think he's been here a couple of years now, is it? Maybe more than that? Yeah. So, no, I know he needs to step up, and I want him to step up. He's Scottish as well. We need him. We need all the players we can. So we need him to step up, and I'm hoping that in the next month or two we get a chance to work a bit closer with him. He's had a few injuries. You know, he's been out really the last, I don't know, it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks or something. So there are bits when you miss out, and you miss out in the training, you miss out in the coaching and the opportunities to be around the group and, you know, get to know him a bit better. He's come on a couple of times, but I think he needs to be looking to step up. He certainly does.
Thanks, Will. Any further questions in the open section before we move on? No? Okay, thanks.
Thanks all.
Cheers, Gary. Good luck tomorrow.